Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. We are talking today about recovery. We're talking about addiction. We're talking about mindfulness. This is the Outstanding Life Show. My name is Jason. We talk about those things I just mentioned about addiction and recovery, but we take a different kind of a spin with it. We take an approach that's inclusive. We take an idea and we expand on it. When it comes to recovery, when it comes to addiction, some of these things are difficult. Some of these things are challenging to talk about because not many people want to talk about difficult things. Some things are way more challenging to chat about, especially when it's sensitive topics, when it comes to mental health or when it comes to adversity or trying to overcome it. You know, in this 2020 kind of a spin that we're in, it's a little more challenging to just, I don't want to say throw in the topic as if you're throwing in seasoning on some cooking. You can't just tell somebody to don't forget to look out for your mental health. Don't forget to like check that box of looking out for yourself. What we want to do is be more sensitive to that topic. And when it comes to addiction, when it comes to, I almost want to say, when it comes to difficult conversations, especially when it leads into mental health, when it leads into the trauma of some of these, I'm trying to be delicate with the conversation. I'm trying to be more open-minded or more inclusive, at least when it comes to things like taking on a challenge of identifying that there's a problem, taking on the challenge where things can fall apart at the slightest whim. Early in my recovery, there were challenges where, when faced with adversity, when faced with no other solution but to succeed, there's that sense of doubt. There's that sense of frustration. There's points where you don't know what it's going to come. This decision that you're about to make, when you're faced with an event crisis point, when you don't know what the other side of that decision looks like, and you're filled with anxiety, when you're filled with fear, frustration, resentment, when you try and throw on some ideas about mental health, when you start throwing on ideas of looking out for yourself and looking out for others and your well-being, looking out for the greater good, those balances are a little challenging. Those balances are, I don't want to say they're invigorating, but without the right support, without the right tools, something as simple as, well, just look out for your mental health or do what's right for you, or just, you'll figure it out. When I say those statements, they're a little more challenging when it comes to trying to balance it, when it comes to, and that's what we're getting to today's topic. And today's topic is getting into the mental health side of things, yes, but when we jump into self-mastery, and when it comes to self-mastery can be something that's simple, but it's also something that's, I would say, gravely complex. It can be simple in the sense that being able to, if I define what self-mastery is, when it comes to what I'm perceiving as self-mastery, I look into that inner balance where there's the difference of, I don't want to say what's right or what's wrong. I would say more of looking at that. We referenced the traumatic event where we have that event crisis point where there's that brick wall. If you're watching the video, I'm taking my hand and I'm almost pressing it up against the flat surface as if I'm punching a wall. If all I'm ever doing is taking in that moment, that event crisis point, that's a very traumatic event. That's a very trauma intensive scenario. That's a situation that can happen to anybody. A car crash can happen to anybody. A bad relationship can unfold. There are good things that happen and there are horrible things that happen to good people. And when it comes to traumatic experiences, when it comes to points in our life where we're frustrated, resentful, and negative, when the other party that we're with is also in the same boat and how they deal with things may not be the same way that we deal with things. And when you introduce hundreds of people, billions of people, those fallouts, those experiences, the same experience for you may not be the same experience for me. And what I'm getting to is that inner balance that we face when we have those events in our lives and how we process them. And I'm not saying just sweeping them under the carpet. I'm not just saying like, yes, those experiences are horrible. And yes, those moments are challenging. If I were to go back and relive those experiences and all they ever were replays in the back of my head, it's kind of like when you have a conversation with somebody, and I don't know if you can relate, where you're having a conversation and you go back and you think of the right thing to say like 3 minutes after you finish the conversation. It sounds so silly, but I catch myself all the time where I'm like, you know, I should have said this. I should have said something else. This would have been the perfect thing to say, but I keep replaying that over and over and over. And when it comes to replaying it over and over again, yes, that trauma experience took place, and yes, that's a very difficult moment to be in. But when I go back and I replay it over and over and over again in my head, when I think of those circumstances that I've been in that have been, I don't want to call them career defining, but those moments in that are life defining, where in that event crisis point, we're presented with a difficult situation and I chose to grow and I chose to dig deep and I chose to look beyond the circumstances. I'm looking for meaning that's greater than that circumstance. And thanks to those events, thanks to those very challenging moments, I've been able to find something bigger to look forward to. I've been looking for something much more aspiring. And I'm not saying like just look for the silver lining, but there's points in my life where I've had a hard time. And if all I ever did was replay in my head the horrible thing that happened, I'm only ever going to keep reliving that over and over and over again. And it's not really something that's growing. It's not really something that's causing me to develop. But if I were to look at that same situation and I were to go and like find that, look for something else, looking for some deeper meaning. And I'm not saying I'm panning for gold, looking for something good out of a horrible thing. Some things are horrible, no matter what happens, no matter who they happen to. And I'm not making justification. What I am saying, though, is there are challenges and there are trauma experiences, but there's also a way that we can use this. And when it comes to self-mastery, when it comes to finding that balance, I can choose to take that very traumatic experience, that trauma event, and I can use it to help propel me forward and to help shape me into something that's much more powerful and much more, rather than leaning on those experiences as crutches, rather than choosing to look at things as, why did something happen to me? I don't want to replay that car accident over and over in my head. I'm going to drive myself crazy. Like, I know myself. I'm a recovering addict. I'm somebody that's struggling with addiction. I've been to rehab. These are things that are very challenging. So I know myself, and that's not something that's supporting me. If I replay that event in my head and it's not serving others and it's not serving the greater good, you know, the Tony Robbins we'll talk about, unless it's doing one of those things, you have to ask yourself, what is it doing as a part of your life? If it's not serving myself, it's not serving others, and it's not serving the greater good, then I need to take a perspective that includes something much larger than just my experience or just my thought. So when I flash back to the topic of today's show is, you know, what is self-mastery? I really dig deep into that explanation where I find the root of not the excuses I tell myself, but I remove that ambiguity from my perception, where I don't want to live a life filled with trauma. And yes, there are horrible things that have happened in my life, and there's horrible things happening in 2020 or 2021, but I'm not going to let those define what the rest of my 2021 is going to look like. You know, there's more chances, there's more days, there's something much more to look forward to. And I'm able to do that by looking at it from a different perspective, and looking at it from a sense of, I don't want to say like self-mastery, but I don't want to be a slave to these fears or these anxieties. And I don't want these ideas to pull me down any further than those experiences already did. So what can I do to help move forward? And what can I do to help propel my experience to help shape me into something much more? You know, how do I take this shaky foundation and shift it into something where I can build on it? You know, maybe it's not something I'm going to turn overnight, but what can I do right now to help move me forward in a positive direction? And that's my perception of self-mastery. I don't know if you agree or if this is something that I'm out to lunch on, but I was really thinking about self-mastery in the past few days, and I thought, you know, this would be a great topic to have a conversation about, and I want to know what your thoughts are. Okay, so I'm going to go check out the comments because I know there's someone. Sammy's here. Hello, Sammy. How are you? Thank you, Sammy, for stopping by. Sammy's mentioning he's noticing the second camera. That's awesome, Sammy. Thank you. And then, oh no, wait, Laura's here. Okay, Laura's mentioning the balance is very challenging. And with many of us, with serious trauma and addiction, swing into hyper emotional, and it's tough learning to stay inside the window. Oh, that's awesome, Laura. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, my friends, this has been the Outstanding Life Show. We are running different topics every week, and we are chatting today about mindfulness. We're talking about overcoming adversity. We are chatting about addiction. And in last week's episode, we were talking about my birthday, my belly button birthday, and we were talking about the fundraiser for the treatment center that I went to. And so when it comes to, we've been doing it for a week or 2 weeks now, I can't remember, but we've hit, Facebook is saying we did over 100% of our fundraiser. We did $250 or $275, which is amazing. Thank you so much, everybody who did contribute. That is all sorts of awesome. We have 8 donators. We have Dawn, Alina, Erica. We have Maddie, Vanessa, Reggie. This is huge. Thank you so much. Alicia, Carla. Oh man. Together we've been able to help contribute $275 to the Men's Treatment Center here in Calgary, and that's the Simon House Recovery Center. This money is going to be going to a good cause, and it really helped me progress in my early stages of recovery, and I really didn't know what to do, and the Simon House Recovery Center is definitely something that has a place in my heart. So every year we've been raising money, and this one, we're just rounding up. I wanted to finish this up. We've only got 1 hour left, but we've hit our goal. We're over 100%. We're at 275, and that's actually something pretty cool. I wanted to do one more thing. Okay, so if you're watching the video, I've got a link down below, and it's sobriety.live/now. And if you go check it out, if you go to that link, it will bring you to this link here. And sobriety.live/now is, we take the audio version of these videos and we turn it into a podcast. I've been able to streamline a lot of the back end stuff, so it makes it a lot easier. So I can take this audio and put it up right away, and it's really quick. I've also got if you like watching the videos, definitely go check this out. If you click on the link here, this will bring you to, this is the YouTube channel, or if you want to subscribe and you can watch. I also have this going live on Facebook. Some people are Facebook people and some people are YouTube people, and that's okay. We're pretty inclusive here. And we also have, if you're somebody that enjoys reading, we also have the transcription of the video put into a blog. And that's what these links are right here. If you are struggling with mental health, or if you're looking to get started, there is a 30 days of a calm.com. It's a free app anyways, but I find that the calm.com app for me helps me just break away from the craziness of 2020 or 2021 now that we're in the new year. Or if I have 10 minutes and I just need to, I could watch a anxiety-filled YouTube video, or for that same 10 minutes, I could just jump into a light, quick, and easy meditation. And they have all different depths of meditation, something from the early stages for beginners like me, or if you're interested in something much more in depth, there's even music that they have. So go and check that out. We have 30 days of calm.com. These are the links down here, are videos, how I became an addict, and my morning meditations. So there's all sorts of links here for the sobriety.live/now. Or the other fun one here is the free Coursera courses. And these are free until March. And these ones are legitimately free, like you don't have to pay anything. But there's some great courses like the Science of Mental Health or the Power of Positive Thinking. And it's broken down into like a 10-week course. And then again, it's absolutely free. These are great resources to check out if you're looking to get started. So it doesn't matter if you're somebody that enjoys the video version, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or if you're listening to this and you're on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We have the audio version, or we have the reading over on the blog. So there's lots of different ways to get to the same information, and I hope you find value in this. I'm gaining a lot of value, and I appreciate you for hanging out. Sammy was here. Laura was here. Thank you for chiming in. I look forward to seeing you in another video. In the meantime, friends, you take care and you have fun. Bye-bye.